In this presentation, I'll be looking at if prison is the most effective form of punishment and if there is any alternatives that could be more effective and beneficial to our society. So starting off, I'm looking at prevention, and especially within youth work and youth justice, trying to stop people being first-time entrants into the justice system. Then I'll look at rehabilitation and how we can use rehabilitation within the prison system to reduce reoffending rates. Overall, this is trying to create active members of our society that can benefit our economy and our society in general. So starting off with prevention, youth work tends to look at reducing the risk of someone who may have criminal or deviant behaviours into entering into the justice system. So a youth worker may get involved in someone's life through youth clubs or schools or social services if they're needed. And I found this table which was really helpful, which looked at, it's called the Revised Age-Graded Theory of Informal Social Control, which breaks down an individual's life and shows external factors that might lead them to a life of crime and deviance. Supporting the idea of youth work, there are many times within an individual's life that a youth worker may get involved that they can have a positive impact on how their life turns out. Harris wrote a paper on 5 case studies of young violent men that had relationships with a youth worker, and obviously because these are case studies and they're very personalised to the individual, they did have very, very successful results. Mainly because they found that a youth worker was someone that they could identify with and didn't feel like they were in a position of authority that a teacher or an other adult may be, which allowed them to be able to talk to them and felt like they were on their side. Also, looking at the recent data for the first-time entrance into the youth justice system, over the last 10 years it's been steadily declining, and with more funding and focus on youth work, this number can reduce further or can keep low, and see it as a positive way of reducing crime in our society. Although it should be considered that this might not be the only reason why the data is reducing, because there are alternative reasons such as community sentencing, which is an alternative to custodial sentences for someone who has committed an offence, rather than so that they can give back to the community to get justice for what they have done. Although this isn't directly linked to punishment, youth work should be considered to improve the rate of entrance into society and offences in the beginning. And with proper implementation and focus, we can have a more successful criminal justice system that is focused on prevention rather than waiting for a crime to occur to only then deal with it. Then looking at rehabilitation, which is when someone is in prison, the services that are available to them to stop reoffending later when they are released. Beginning with this, I looked at academics such as Foucault, who looked into the nature of prisons and stated that punishment can only function if it comes to an end, which mainly highlights that reformation and reintegration into society is better than allowing someone to go in and out of the same system. And punishment is only successful when someone can reintegrate into society and be an active member. So there are 5 main points of rehabilitation, which is social, educational, religious, health and economic. Due to time restraints, I'll only be looking at 2, which is educational and economic. So starting with educational, there are already systems in place for educational services, which give an offender the opportunity to develop skills and general knowledge they might need on the outside. Derived from sociological theory, it is aimed to change attitudes and reduce reoffending rates and create functional members within a given society. A researcher called McDougall and his colleagues did a trial of technological education within 7 different prisons across the UK, and he found that the reduction in reoffences was 5.36%. In this table, it is referred to as PSS, which is Prisoners' Self-Service, which looks at how the advancements of technology within the prison service can allow someone to become more self-sufficient and have better family relations, better idea of their life, and better grasp on their life, and have some structure. So this has been very, very positive and has benefited the individual upon release, as people who have been incarcerated for a significant period of time, obviously as technological advances are made in modern society, they might not have been able to match it within the prison service. So it gives a very nice blending between the prison service and the modern world. So it's not as much of a shock when they get released and they don't understand as much technology as you or I do. Although this approach, much like youth work, isn't traditional punishment systems, but it does allow someone to be rehabilitated and be more positive, and is a sustainable way to keep reoffending rates as low as they can be. Moving on to economic, there are a large number of prisoners that may be unemployed before they get into crime, to maybe even support themselves. They may be homeless. So with better educational needs within prison, it can lead on to better job opportunities upon release. Obviously, a lot of people, there is a misconception about people within prison, as a lot of employers don't want to employ ex-offenders because they feel like they might not be good workers. However, there is companies and systems already in place that are looking to better educate the offenders to give them opportunities upon release for job opportunities. Milton Keynes College is an education system that is set up to allow their partnership companies to train individuals and give and educate individuals to allow them to get job opportunities when they leave. And they are partnered with various companies that are willing to employ ex-offenders and allow the training to happen within prison so that an individual can rebuild their life. This is a positive use of the punishment system because it allows rehabilitation through education and allows those to become active members of society and are more beneficial and more prepared for the outside world. So more use of this within our prison system can be more beneficial on reducing reoffending rates and making our entire criminal justice system more effective. So to conclude, I wanted to look at how we can improve our current system and what currently is being done to benefit our society more, to make it more efficient for what's happening now. With youth work, it's a current system in place, and it's probably not got as much funding in focus as it should do because it is reducing the risk of individuals getting involved in the prison system in the first place. And rehabilitation is a positive way to be sustainable in reducing reoffending rates and incarceration, so it can be beneficial to our society and create active members that benefit our economy. I think that's it. Thank you.